What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This weekend we've got Costa versus Arnold Allen in the UFC. We are back in the Apex, and I'm here to break down every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event. And first, a word brought to you by me. If you would like to make $100, maybe starting, or maybe it's going to be less starting here in the future, join my Tapology group at tapology.com/groups/2048. It's going to be haul, man. We're going to have a day. We compete for $100 week, or not weekly, Jesus, every single numbered event. So UFC 328 was the latest numbered event. Rambu was the winner. So if he places his Cash App information in the winners section of the group. So I will show you right here. Pay-per-view winner cash prize. You'll click in here and then post in here your Cash App information, and then I will send you the money. Anyways, so all you have to do to make that money is sign up for Tapology. It's completely free, and then do what we're about to do right now. So buckle up, fellas, and prepare for the ride that is going to be UFC Fight Night, Arnold Allen versus Costa. First off, we start with a women's fight. And as you know, if you're new here, we go to the Prophet itself. And it's going to be picking Nicole Cagliari. So Nicole typically wins by submission, so I'm going to pick Cagliari here by submission in round number 1. That's about the extent of women's fights we break down here. Next, we move to the next fight in the, looks like women's division here. We've got flyweights. We've got Daniel Barez versus Luis Gurule. It's really, really, really hard to ever want to pick Luis Gurule for anything. But this might be the one time where you might be able to get away with doing so, because you have a guy that's kind of his size. It's even a near even on the scorecards, or on the betting odds. Tapology's really favoring Barez. He's just not a guy who fights really often enough for me to know how good he is. He's lost to Fijo and to Andre Lima, both decent fighters. Like Andre Lima, better fighter than Fijo, if I would have to say so in my own head. Victor Altamirano, just I don't even believe should have been in the UFC. Alden Correa, Jesus Aguilar, and Ode Osborne are the losses, and we were finished by Ode Osborne. I'm going to pick Daniel Barez by decision. I'm not going to try to not stay on this too long. Next, we're going to move to the next women's fight of the evening. We've got Polyana Viana versus Alice Ardeline. Let's get right to the seer itself. And it's going to be picking Alice Ardeline. So she is a winner by decision most of the time, but it looks like Polyana Viana is a loser by finish a lot of the time. So I could see Alice Ardeline getting the finish here. A lot of submission losses here for old Polyana Viana. But maybe the women kick us off with the finishes. Desmond Lucinda. I mean, you know what? We're gonna go with Arlene by decision. The coin has picked it. I think this should be a fun fight. If you know things, you know Polyana Viana's a good-looking fighter, and although Alice Arteline's not good-looking, she does have shape, so that's something. But I have Arteline winning the fight because the coin picked it. The coin has had a prophetic run this year so far. So, oh my God. Talk about a slop fest. And we don't even have to go to heavyweight for this one. We have Andre Petroski versus Cody Brundage. This is UFC matchmaking at its peak. We've got a guy who literally cannot win a fight outside of disqualification in Cody Brundage. Versus the man who lost to a hip. He shot in on a takedown and lost to a hip. We can't have Hamzat Chimaev or any of these guys who like really hug and grapple heavy and just are boring fighters shoot in on a hip and, you know, get knocked unconscious. But Andre Petroski showed the new meta for that kind of thing. If you really stand your base and hip them in, you can get knocked out. They can knock you out with that hip. You know, this is one that I have just stumbled over. Because you have a man that's so chinny he lost to a hip versus Cody Brundage. I'm going to pick Andre Petroski by unanimous decision. Yeah. Anyways, do not think about this fight. It'll hurt your brain. Just get out of there. We are to the next women's fight. Caitlin Vieta versus Jacqueline Cavalcante. We are at 135 pounds, so this will be a terrible fight. The coin picks Cavalcante. Looks like it's going to be by decision. What a fight that'll be. And it makes sense because we're at 135. It's a ranked women's fight. Typically the unranked women's fights like Arteline versus Viana, Shauna Bannon versus Cagliari are going to be where you get your finishes. And then in the higher ranked MMA women's scene, you're going to get your, like, you know, your boring decisions. Next, we move to the lightweight division. We have Tommy Gant versus Artur Miniev. Miniev looks to be making his debut, so both guys making their debut. Miniev seems to be a finisher, striker it seems. And we know that Tommy Gant is a wrestler with, you know, wins against some guys. He's got some fight experience. Definitely not the highest level of fight experience. I could actually see this going to the Ukrainian here in Artur Miniev. But I'm going to pick Tommy Gant. I'm going to pick him to get this fight over with by... I'm going to say by ground and pound. I think in round number 2, the ground and pound's really going to open up for him, and he's going to end up finishing the fight. Maybe in round number 1, honestly, but both guys undefeated. Maybe it takes the test of it, takes it into round number 2. So I've got Tommy Gant getting the wrestling in, taking down old Artur, and getting some heavy ground and pound shots in. Next, we move to the light heavyweight division where we've got Tuco Tacos versus Ivan Urslan. Pick whoever you want, man. Just flip a coin. Just literally do this right here. Because there is no use in racking your brain to think about this one. You've got Tuco Tacos, a guy who has lost to Umar Sy, Navajo Sterling, beat the great Myron Dennis and Brian Jackson, who was 1-7 to get in the UFC. I'm picking Ivan Urslan. He's going to have the grappling, striking, everything advantage. Sure. Oh my god, it's just so tough. Like, Urslan has beaten real fighters in the past, whereas Tuco Takos, I'm picking Urslan. And I'm picking him by finish. Round 2. We're not going to think about this. Round 1. We're not going to think about this any longer. Don't even worry about telling my pick on that one. Next, we move to Nikolai Varetnikov versus Chaos Williams. We're in the welterweight division. Chaos Williams coming off of some losses recently. Very inactive outside of last year, though. So we lost to Randy Brown, but it was close. Nikolai Varetnikov able to, consistently come out here and just barely get by in some of these fights. He did slime out Nico Price, but congratulations, who hasn't? I just have not been impressed by what Chaos Williams brings to the cage lately. Neither guy very good. Chaos Williams is shorter with a longer reach. So I'm going to pick Chaos Williams. I'm going to pick him by decision. Because, he has not been getting finishes too consistently. Whatever. We'll do by KO. Nikolai Varetnikov was getting hit by Francisco Prado pretty consistently, so we can use that as an excuse to kind of say, Chaos Williams is going to land as well. But I could see this going the complete opposite way. Chaos Williams just isn't a great fighter at all. Shows up sometimes, doesn't show up the others. Next, we move to the bantamweight division where we have Timmy Kwamba versus Bernardo Sopai. I am going to pick Bernardo Sopai. The question is, by what? Timmy Kwamba's a loser by decision typically, but I'm gonna pick Sopai by decision. I think we get it done by decision here against the great Timmy Kwamba. Next, we'll move. Second fight on the main card. We've got Modestas Bukauskas versus Christian Edwards. I am assuming this fight was recently changed because it was Rodolfo Bellato. I'm going to pick Modestas Bukauskas to get a finish here, I think. Yeah. I'm going to pick him to get a finish here. We're going to pick round number 1. Maybe we get a submission. I'm gonna pick Bukauskas, but I don't know by what. Maybe I guess just TKO. Round number 1. We'll move on. I don't know who this other guy is. Next, we move to Malcolm Wellmaker versus Juan Diaz. Juan Diaz, a guy who won his Contender Series fight by spinning back elbow against a Korean, it seems. And then the rest of his fight, well, this guy doesn't seem too bad. He gets some finishes here and there. 2 finishes over his last 5 fights. We've mainly decisions. He's 15-1. Seems like he's pretty solid. We're going to pick Wellmaker, but tentatively, I'm going to pick Wellmaker by, I guess, big meaty hook. We're going to pick it in round number 1. We're going to say that Juan Diaz comes forward a little too hard, gets clipped and clipped and clipped and clipped, and then finished. If I remember right, Juan Diaz was not doing his best in the fight with Juan Tu Quan. Anyways, let's move on to Do Ho Choi versus Willie Cat Daniel Santos. Looks like Do Ho Choi's been away for a year and some change. The last fight being Nate Landwehr. Lost to Charles Jourdain and Jeremy Stevens. Oh, man. I mean, it's just always hard to tell. Daniel Santos has been much more active. He's beating Korean guys, so I'm gonna keep him up with that win streak of just beating Korean guys, and I'm gonna pick him to win this fight by knockout. Maybe by decision. We're gonna go by decision. Willie Cat, Daniel Santos by decision in the co-main event. Kind of a rough one. Next, we move to the main event of the evening. We've got Melquizel Costa versus Arnold Allen. This is a banger of a fight on a not banger of a card. We will be watching the MVP card as well on this one. But Melquizel Costa, underdog on this fight, versus Arnold Allen, who has only lost to Jean Silva in the UFC. Jean Silva, Movsar Evloev, and Max Holloway. Pretty good losses to be having. Beat Calvin Kattar and Giga in his last wins. Whereas Melquizel Costa beat Dan Ige, Morgan Charrier, Julian Rosa, Christian Rodriguez, Andre Fili. When was the last time Melky lost? Let's look at that real quick. And the last time Arnold Allen lost. Well, not the last time, but I guess the first. It was in Cage Warriors. Steve Garcia was able to put the pace on him and really beat him up. Thiago Moises. It's a tough fight to call, honestly. I could see either guy getting it done. I do like the hot streak that Melquizel Costa's on. And, you know what? He's the underdog for this fight. I think he was the underdog in the Dan Ige fight, but I'm going to pick Melquizel Costa to win this fight. But can he beat Arnold Allen over a decision? That's what's tough. Like, or does he become the first man to finish Arnold Allen? You know what? I'm going to pick it. I think Melquizel Costa finishes Arnold Allen in the second round. And I'm going to pick by TKO. So these are my picks. I think he's going to just be too much for him on the feet. These are my picks. I've got Melquizel Costa by KO, Daniel Santos by decision, Wellmaker by KO, Bukowskis by KO, Sapaj by decision, Williams by KO, Urslan by KO, Gant by KO, Cavalcante by decision, Petrosky by decision, Artelene by decision, Barres by decision, Cagliari by submission. Save my picks. That is how you enter yourself to each one of the numbered events in our $100 Cash App giveaway that we do here on the channel. Like I said, I'm probably gonna drop that because lower that a little bit because I do owe Pac-Man 77 quite a bit of money at this point. So, anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoy the fights. There is the Netflix card this week if you'd like me to break it down. feel free and tell me, and I will see if I, have the kind of push for that the UFC kind of has. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the fights this weekend. Good luck on your fight picks. Goodbye.